following podcast is being brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network.
This week on the Defy Life Podcast, the guys discuss the murder of Atatiana Jefferson and a drunk woman running over folk at a gas station. They also talk some NFL Week 6 action, and as always, they answer listener questions and wrap things up with some trivia. All of that and more. Let's get it.
Yeah, that's what it is. I guess we gotta do it then. You alright? Check. Pool. Out. Money. West Coast. Let's get it. Strap in, let's take a ride. Oh yeah, it's about that time, right? Been waiting all week to get to this. It's finally time to defy life. Let's chop it up, keep it trail, no other way. That's what we do. We might disagree, but it's all love. Guarantee we gon' speak the truth. Yeah, this hit different. My guys with me now. Who's with us? Stick around for a few minutes. It's contagious. You'll get it. You downloaded the realest. Don't feel us, but get out. You not rocking with Defy Life, then what's your life about? This ain't the Defy Life. Told you. This is the Defy Life. I'm gonna let this ride out though. This is the Defy Life. This is the Defy Life. Welcome back to the Defy Life Podcast, powered by the Defy Life Podcast Network. Thank you for listening. You can find us on all your favorite podcast platforms. And now we are available at defylifepods.com as well. As always, we encourage you to like, subscribe, and give us a 5-star rating whenever you listen. You can also find us on all social media platforms at Go Defy Life. This episode is sponsored by Bud Bottles, home of the Bud Bottle and the Bud Freshener. Please visit budbottles.com for your odor eliminating needs. This is episode 129, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, J.R. Glenf, joined as always by my wonderful co-host, Alvin Glenf, West Coast J. What's good with you, Al?
It depends if you're asking me as a Jet fan or as a Cowboy fan.
Right.
Because I got a brothers in mixed emotions right now.
You know, it's funny.
Conflicted.
Right. All Sunday, I was like, I wonder how Al's feeling right now. Like, I don't know how he's taking this. I don't know.
It's, and I'll be honest, it is definitely a thing. I have to admit, it definitely forces you to come to terms with who's your favorite child. Do you really have a favorite child right now? And I got to admit, I do. The Cowboys are my favorite child because as much as I loved what I see with the Jets, I was a little disappointed that they won. It was like, I wanted y'all to do well, but I didn't want y'all to win, though. I really didn't hope y'all won, but I'm glad I did see what I see. I saw what I saw, and I'll talk more about it when we talk about Know What I Know in NFL, but I'm doing good, my brother. I like that new intro. The female voice, I recognize that female voice, and I really liked that. That was kind of dope. Definitely a new twist to the beginning of the show. I like that. So good to be here. What's up, cuz? What up, West Coast? Good to be here.
Man, appreciate that. Yeah, I throw a little twist on it so people can hear something other than me for the first 2 minutes of the show. So yeah, just threw on. She earned the job.
Not bad.
No doubt.
He said she earned the job.
Right.
Keep it up.
All right. I was like, hey, show up every Tuesday, 9:30. You got a job. So, yeah. West Coast, what's good with you?
Man, I'm chilling. Not nearly as conflicted as Al over there with the NFL problems. Now I just need to see the Niners beat the Seahawks before I start drinking the Kool-Aid for real.
Right. Yeah, maybe you can.
They're looking good, though.
They are. Maybe you'll actually pick them in your Defy Life picks one time.
Nah, have you noticed that they've won every time I haven't? So,
all right.
You want to talk about old baseball superstitions? You call it what you want.
All right. Well, yeah, man. Well, it's good to talk to y'all, man. Shout out to Yosh is trying to get here. He's stuck in traffic right now, on the way to get to our studios in downtown Nebraska. So Yosh, get him when you can. If not, turn around, go home. Yeah. I don't know.
The after hour traffic in Nebraska,
it's crazy.
It's rough. It's rough, man.
Yeah,
it's rough.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's got something to do with Pooh and Money working the wearing their "Let Them Work, Let Them Live" shirts tonight and working in the on the roads. I think they filling in potholes or something. Community service. I don't know. So Yosh, blame Pooh and Money for your traffic woes. So who knows? But we just gonna do it. I don't know, man. Good week, man. Last week was good. It's kind of blah, but I guess because I'm gonna talk about this. I was on Scott, and shout out to Scott and Oz for their 50th episode. I was on their 50th episode.
Oh, okay.
Yo, you said one of the funniest things I have ever heard. Dick Grayson is like the Tennessee Titans.
Right.
I've been laughing at that for so many hours. Like when they do well, you're like, oh, look at them, they did good. They did good.
Yeah, it's like.
But if they don't ever do nothing you don't expect, they just
you just forget about them. Like, yeah. But that was a fun episode, man. Shout out to Oz and Scott.
Congratulations,
50th
gentlemen.
episodes, yeah, definitely. So that was fun. And then like I said, it was a little blah because we talked about Gemini Man and how horrible that shit was. And so
was it bad?
Yo, I can't get the stench of that shit off my brain. It was so bad.
Wow.
It was just pretty bad, man. It might be probably Will Smith's worst movie I've ever seen.
Wow.
Based on like expectation. Like, when you consider expectation and where he is in his career, it was pretty fucking bad, man. Yeah, it was. I've said enough on like talking to Miggs and talking to Scott and Oz. Like, I don't even know what else to say. So I won't definitely. I mean, check it out. I don't want to force my opinion on everyone, but
right.
It wasn't bad. And then it's kind of like I kind of feel like I remember when Mace's second album. What was it? Double Up.
Nope. I tried to forget that album.
Right. So it was so bad. I got it out. I got this. Of course, it was CD. Got the CD out of Best Buy, and I was like, "Yo, I can't wait to listen." Living in Newberry, we had to drive to Columbia to go to a music store. So went to Best Buy, got it, and I was like, "I'm gonna sit in the parking lot and listen to this shit." I can't. So first track comes. Oh man, that's kind of bad. Skip it. Next track comes. Skip. I was like, this shit is terrible. But I was like, man, I ain't gonna be in this shell by myself for the sucker that bought this second Mace album. So the first thing I did was call my cousin Junior. Was like, yo, you got to go get this second Mace album, Joe.
Damn, that's how you do?
That's how I did.
That's mean and mean-spirited, bro.
It is. That's how... but that album was so bad, it put me in a dark place. That's where Gemini Man has me. So everybody go see that shit.
You one of those this nasty. Taste this.
Yeah.
You'll love it.
Right. So here's to you, Joker. Hoping you can get me out of this movie funk I'm in, because
Joker was rough, man. That movie was intense.
Yeah. So I gotta check it out. And I did see El Camino, the
how'd you like that?
Breaking
Bad movie.
It was dope. It was like a 2-hour episode of Breaking Bad, pretty much.
Okay.
Right.
I'll take that up.
Right. So pretty good.
Second person to say that to me.
Yeah. So
did any of y'all see that spinoff? The one something Saul, Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
No. I heard that if you get through the first couple of episodes that it picks itself up, but I haven't gotten through the first couple of episodes.
Yeah,
it's good. It's different,
right?
So it's still a good show, but it I don't know. It's not Breaking Bad.
No, it's not. And if you're expecting that, you're gonna be disappointed.
Right. Yeah. But it's a good series, but it's definitely not Breaking Bad.
Right. But yeah, so yeah, definitely waiting to check out Joker, and we'll talk about Gemini Man some more because I want to see what y'all think about it. So let me know when y'all seen it, and we will talk about it.
All right.
Yeah, I think the recommendation I got to see it was if you got a Fire Stick, bootleg that.
That's exactly, yeah, right. And if,
I think that's how I heard about it.
Right.
If you got a Fire Stick, bootleg
that was my ring. And if you don't have a Fire Stick and you live close to me, come on through. You can check it out at my house. So just want to see how bad it is.
So I just want to see that look on your face.
Right.
Damn, that sucks.
That's awful.
I'm just gonna stare at you the whole movie while you watch
awful.
it.
That's way funnier than you give it credit for.
Yeah.
Like, the movie is terrible. Let me see other people see it. Make sure I'm not tripping.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Oh yeah. But before we get into the meat of the show, again, a little bit of house cleaning. I want to give a shout out. Congrats to one of our listeners, Dixon Rivera, for winning our first ever Defy Life Podcast T-shirt giveaway.
Okay.
We talked about the top 5 black male actors of all time. We posted on social media and let everybody comment. Told all of our listeners to give their top 5, and Dixon won. And so, Dixon, as you know, your shirt's in the mail. So, he was very appreciative. He said, God bless you guys. He's been listening ever since he found us, and he's been pushing. He said, man, you get me that shirt, I will wear that shit everywhere and promote this show. So, kudos to you, Dixon. Salute, man. So, yeah. So, we'll post your picture when you get the shirt, and we'll do this once a month. So we always post stuff on social media, and next one we will let y'all know when that next T-shirt is up for grabs. And if you didn't get one, or if you hadn't gotten on the train but you want one anyway, definitely go out to DefyLifeGear.com and get your own Defy Life Podcast T-shirt. You can also get the network T-shirt, any of the other, the traditional Defy Life shirt. Everything's out there. But thank y'all for rocking on this Defy Life train with us. So yeah, man. First thing, man, in these news tidbits, no good news for y'all today. I feel like a reverend. I ain't got no new gospel for you today. But I'm sure everyone's so. Remember when we were talking about the Amber Geiger trial and how short her sentence was, and we all said, "Yeah, it won't be long before we just talk about another situation."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And guess what? We got another situation
in Texas.
In Texas,
Texas is the new Florida,
right? Right. So in case you've been living under a rock, this weekend in Fort Worth, Texas, a young lady by the name of Atatiana Jefferson was just chilling in her crib playing video games with her nephew, and I guess it was late hours of the night, and her front door was open, and her neighbor decided, hey, that looks strange, let's call the cops and do a wellness check at 2 a.m. because her door is open. And the cops come. Well, a cop comes, and he's walking around the perimeter of her house. Never bothers to go inside, just going around the dark perimeter of her house, and with his flashlight, shines a flashlight into her window and sees her, doesn't recognize, that it's the occupant of the house. Didn't even take time to realize that. Didn't even announce that he was a police officer. All he said was, hands up, and shot through the window and killed her with her nephew in the room. And the bullshit started right there. Of course, first thing they say is, hey, there was a gun in the house, which really amounts to nothing. And then, of course, instead of, of course, they announced that he's going to be on leave, on administrative leave, and then they were planning to fire him yesterday, but he resigned before they got a chance to fire him. And I'm using air quotes in case y'all don't know. But yeah, so that's pretty much it in a nutshell. At this point, he has been arrested and charged with murder. So that's where we stand right now. Over under, Al, did you think it would take this long for another bullshit story to happen?
Hell no. I mean, I didn't think it would be this quick. I'm saying, like, this has to be like in the history book of bullshit, injustice, and the black experience. This has to be a world record or something, man. Like, that was quick. Right. Usually we get like at least a time to protest about it, write about it, digest it, forget it, and bam, another one comes up. We didn't even get to print a T-shirt or nothing like that, man. It was quick, bro. And then for it to happen in Dallas again, I really have to wonder about people who live in Dallas. Like, this would really have me uneasy about living there. That, just twice people are getting shot in their homes. Like, that would just have me, if I'm living in Texas right now, just really, really uneasy and demanding for some change. And I've been getting some interesting reports about things happening on the ground, about people trying to organize. But this is just ridiculous, and on a whole nother level of ridiculous.
Yeah. It's pretty sad, and I mean, maybe it's definitely hyperbole, but Amber Geiger could be out of jail before he gets in jail. Like, how crazy is that? Wow. Yeah, I don't know. West Coast, man. If your neighbor's door is open late at night, you calling the cops?
Not usually, no. First step would be to probably go maybe have a look myself.
Right.
Maybe.
Right.
Or
at least like creep around to the corner and say, "Hey, you out in there?"
That's what I'm saying, like a look. I didn't say I was going to run off up in there. I just said it was maybe go have a look. Mm-hmm. But the problem with that is that me creeping around the house immediately gets a cop called.
Right. Yeah.
Like, immediately. So maybe not even that. It might have to be stand on the front porch and go, "Hey, yo!"
All right.
Hey, you all up? You up in there? You in there?
Right, like at least you know her name, like scream her name or something. But like,
but did the neighbor know her name? Because this was her sister's house, so she was babysitting her nephew.
Yeah, but something like,
do you call the nephew? Do you call somebody in the house? Hey, so hey, yada yada yada.
Right, and that's my thing. If you're that concerned, if you're concerned enough to call the cops, you should be concerned enough to like do your own due diligence first.
At least. Mm-hmm. At least that. Yeah. That is a...
I don't think that's a lot to ask.
Nah, I don't think it is. However, the trend in society recently has been more along the lines of you take your camera out and stand in the window and call somebody else to come do your dirty work.
Yeah. All right.
That's just sort of been that's kind of the trend overall in all the shootings and all of the issues. There's always a cell phone footage from some angle that we was like, was that good even there?
Yeah.
But kind of like that commercial where the old ladies are like, that's not how this is supposed to work.
Right.
Like, I'm supposed to be able to call, I'm supposed to be able to call the cops. Like, maybe it would have been extra nice or some kind of way that, okay, maybe I could have opened the door and knocked on the door. Okay, cool. But for just a check to make sure everything's all right, I'm supposed to call the authorities without fear that, damn, if I call the authorities, my neighbor might get shot.
Right.
That shouldn't have to be a thought.
That's not how it's supposed to work. It's supposed to work like that at all.
And that's why I keep telling people, like, it's past the point of being it's more than a black-white issue at this point. It's more than being black in America issue. It's a blue issue.
It's a blue issue. Shout out Lenny and Kim. Black folk, blue ain't for you.
Exactly. And whether it's intentional, whether I don't know what's more sad, like the fact that we got these scary ass cops who are like you have regular citizens who are supposed to remain composed and de-escalate situations, but these cops with training and weapons are not expected to do the same. So we're now holding cops to a lower standard than we are everyday citizens. And it's getting to a point, Al, like you just said, was like, you don't feel safe even calling the cops for a good reason, just a wellness check. Mm-hmm. That's ridiculous. And how incompetent do you have to be to just go off shooting because you at somebody's house? Right. What do you think? Nobody lives there? What do you think is going to be in the house?
And on a wellness check. So it would be one thing if you were rolling up on some Crips, right. In the sense of you're expecting, you come in here with this frame of mind, I know they packing, first thing move, I'm licking shots, yo. That's a whole nother level of danger, expectation of danger coming up here. This is just a wellness check. Someone just called to say, can you come make sure everything all right? That's not the same level of danger that I would expect a cop to have. And I'm saying this as someone who has done a ride along with sheriffs delivering warrants. And doing that type of a ride along where you are expecting someone to run away, you are delivering this to someone who has already been suspected of breaking a crime, breaking a law, then I was walking with a sense of, after about 45 seconds, walking behind this cop, because my ride along, he gave me the option to sit in the car, but I'm thinking I ain't no punk. Come on, I'll walk with you until I got out there. Then I'm like, damn, what the fuck was you thinking? You ain't got no gun. They do. I'm gonna stick right behind this cop. And as I'm walking with him, I'm thinking yo, I really got a sense, and I ain't walking in their shoes, but I got a real sense of the uncertainty and not knowing what's behind that fence. And if anything move, make sure I get home to my kids. That's what I'm thinking. Mm-hmm. So I get that a law enforcement officer can be on edge. Yeah, but to your point, they have been trained to handle these situations. We haven't. Right. And at the end of the day, like I said, in this particular case, you shouldn't have been on high alert. And if you thought something was crazy, back up. Go out. You'll get backup. It just, your first response shouldn't be just to shoot up into the window. That's just
right.
Crazy.
At the very least, if someone had called and said, hey, West Coast Jay is creeping around this neighbor's house and trying to see what's in this open door, even then you could be on a little bit of an alert.
Right.
But a wellness check, it's, and if you're that, like you said, if you're that afraid and if you're that on edge, call for backup.
Mm-hmm. My first thought process was where you pull up on a house and she's sitting there playing video games with her nephew. So where's the threat there? Mm-hmm. Through a window, you see a young woman and a young boy playing video games. Right. Not a shadow in the background, not a some little figure lurking from in the kitchen, none of that. You just see that there are only two people home. You see a young lady and a boy playing video games, sitting in front of the TV. Where is that? Where's that the high alert? That's the now again. I could see shine the flashlight in the room, make some noise, scare the hell out of them even. But why pull your pistol first if those are your two threats?
Right.
What happened to knocking on the door?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Use your other senses. Like, if you didn't hear any noises, you didn't hear like nothing, just knock on the door.
Like the door's open. Hey, everything all right in here? Police?
Right.
You got a gun.
Like what kind of, which leads me to a simple question back to where I was talking about what is going on in Fort Worth that these cops got to be on this kind of level of alert with the air quotes. What's going on in the Dallas Fort Worth area that every place they walk into, their first move is the gun?
Well, the biggest issue is cosmetologists have to go through more training than police officers do. That's the biggest issue. That
made me, like, I'm literally online now looking, Fort Worth police officer training, prerequisites and education requirement. I'm going to just go ahead and read this from a criminal justice degree school program. Becoming a Fort Worth police officer involves several steps. To be considered, candidates must have at least a high school diploma or a GED, plus 12 semester hours of college credit, be U.S. citizens, be at least 21 years of age and not more than 44 years of age, and have a valid driver's license. Prospective recruits must also live within 30 minutes of a designated report-in station and have 6 months after employment to achieve this requirement. So once accepted into a police academy training class, recruits will begin learning the skills and knowledge needed to be an effective police officer. Courses include criminal law, emergency vehicle operations, gang activity, defense tactics, firearms training, and search and seizure, among others. And the academy portion of recruit training lasts for 8 months, after which recruits complete 3.5 months of field training. So we're looking at 11.5 months of school and field training.
Petty. That's nothing.
So that's to deal what they deal with. That is.
Yeah, right.
Like
it's not enough.
We can't play both sides of the fence. Like we can't say, you don't know how stressful it is to be a police officer. You don't know what all they go through. It's a hard job. But then we train them for 11 months.
Right. Good point.
Right. Train them for 5 minutes.
Good point.
So either it's one or the other. Like I've been at my job since February. I'm still considered in training. And all I do is manage projects. Again, like cosmetologists have to go to school for 24 months. Like
doctors
exactly. And I ain't even going to that extreme. Yeah,
no,
exactly.
But think about it though. Think about what a nurse, what a doctor has in their disposal every day. Like they have people's lives in their hands every day.
Right. Yeah,
so their training is long and extensive because we want you to get it right every time when you are working out there. We don't want you to be learning. And we know it's going to, but as much as we can, this is a hard job. We got a lot of shit to teach you. Right. We got a lot to prepare you for.
And imagine if you went to a doctor who said, I got my GED, but I got 11 months of training.
Or what if you heard a doctor give the excuse of, you don't know what we go through. It's so hard to be a doctor.
Exactly.
Damn, cut us some slack.
Yeah. And you always hear the excuse and the rhetoric that it's a few bad apples, but everybody always forgets the second part of that phrase. What do those few bad apples do? They spoil the rest of the bunch.
Right. That is true.
Yeah,
and I do know, and we all do, that I don't know how many bad apples there are, but there's plenty of good apples, right? So we know. But that's not the point. The point is the bad apples need to be removed and dealt with and then be held accountable. That's it. That's all we asking for.
Right. Accountability.
That's what we want. And the fact that some cops aren't on that side, because there are some who are on our side and feel like, I value my job. I value the law. Y'all are making it harder on me. If they do something wrong, punish them. Those are the cops I rock with. The others who are just like trying to make excuses and it's a whole lot of them. That blue wall is serious. That's a fraternity that, you know, they take loyalty, like your life depends on it. So, yeah, that's a whole nother. Yeah, it's serious.
Yeah, and it's blatant and it's intentional. Like it's not a myth. So I don't know, man. Again, like, I don't even like at this point. I'm tired. I'm really tired of saying, you know, prayers for the family and, you know, like all that stuff, because so much of this shit can be avoided. Like, so
straight up.
But that's why it was good to see the woman get some time. Now, you know, we argue whether or not it was enough time, but it was definitely. I was shocked. I was surprised, to be honest. Unfortunately, but I was surprised to see her get time. But I'm glad she did. She did.
So did you see the video people have posted on social media of the judge explaining why she hugged her and gave her a Bible and all that stuff?
No, what'd she say?
So, first off, people are saying everyone shouldn't be so quick to rush to judgment. Now that the judge has had her time to give her side of it, which her side of it was essentially that she asked for a Bible, she asked for a hug, and that the bailiff that was fixing her hair was not fixing her hair. She was searching for weapons, you know, because they were about to take her back, which that's feasible because they do that to all the people that are about to go back. You know, most women or people with long hair who are about to be taken back after sentencing, they do search their hair for weapons. But whether she asked for a Bible or not, or asked for a hug or not, is beside the point to me. Because with any ask, there's an opportunity for a no.
Correct.
So, what is
like every time?
Right,
there's two ways that question can go.
Exactly.
Just because she asked doesn't mean you had to give it to her.
Right. So, what if she'd asked for no jail time? You gonna give her that because she asked for it? No. You have the opportunity to say no because for one, the optics are terrible, and two, unless you have a long history of hugging and giving Bibles to convicted murderers, why start with her? The optics are terrible on that.
My thing is, and we talked about this I can't remember how many shows ago, but we talked about what are deal breakers for us and things we can't rock with, and mine was murder.
Right.
So on the strength of I'm a judge and you just committed the crime, that far as I'm concerned, you really crossed the line to where I ain't really interested in fucking with you no more. That's a deal breaker for me. People who take lives, like, nah, man, I can't play with you no more. And I understand other people are, and I respect, you know, that's your choice.
Yeah.
Me, that right there, And so for the fact that it was that severe of a crime and they were willing to show empathy and caring or whatever you want to do it, like however they want to phrase it, whatever. I don't care. It's not, they didn't deserve it. She didn't deserve it. And, you know, I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know, man. But I guess it's kind of, again, it kind of feels obligatory at this point, but all the best and prayers, everything to the family. All we can say is here we go again. So we'll see how this goes.
This feels different though. And maybe it's building off of what happened in this one, but I maybe the fact that it happened right after, and maybe it will go a little differently. Kind of like that. This feels similar to what I felt at that school shooting in Florida. I can't think of the name of the city, Parkland maybe, where for some reason the response I was hearing online on the news is like, maybe people might see this one differently, and I'm hoping this goes different as well. And yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Exactly. We will see. It's kind of like weeks 1 through 3 of the NFL season. When I ask you what you know, we don't fucking know.
But we was honest,
right?
You know
that's what I'm saying. Right,
at least we got that right.
Right,
we got that right. We don't know nothing.
Right. So we shall see. So I sent you guys a video, and
wow.
West Coast, you're not on Facebook, so I couldn't message it to you. Did Paul happen to send you that video of the chicks in Greensboro?
He may have. I know that he referenced it, and when he sent it, or when he sent me the initial, dude, did you hear about this? Y'all need to talk about this on the show. I was like, dude, send that to Jay immediately. Like, whatever it is, send it to him immediately.
But now it's all over the internet. So have you seen it at all?
I've seen a piece of it, but I haven't seen the whole thing. I keep trying to find the whole thing, and so I keep catching like random bits of news where there's now newscasters.
So it's pretty crazy. So this was late Friday night, early Saturday morning, depending on what time you go to bed. In Greensboro, North Carolina, group of club goers just gotten out of the club. And of course, everybody's drunk. Everybody's still on a high of leaving the club. So tensions were flowing. Two groups of females got into a pretty heated exchange, and of course, again, alcohol was involved, so it escalated things. So they were at this gas station, and they were actually parked by the pumps, so getting gas, and one chick hops in her SUV and backs over anybody that was in her path. And during which she not only ran over people, but she didn't close her passenger door, so that got like ripped off the hinges, and she backs up, hits 2 people, and then takes off again, coming forward at full speed in between the pumps, and runs over another 3 people. Ends up killing 1 person. I think 2 more people are in ICU, and 2 more people are have non-life-threatening injuries. One of those people in ICU is her best friend. So I'm like in the process of being an idiot. You kill someone who definitely didn't deserve to lose their life, and possibly you at the very minimum you've like severely injured your best friend. So 2 of those women are in jail now for first-degree murder. That's just how quickly shit can go bad when alcohol is involved and egos get involved, and like it's just crazy, man. Like Al, when you looked at it, what were your thoughts? It was hard for me to watch.
It was really hard for me to watch, and I was actually at home finishing breakfast, so I was around my family, so I actually was able to show them as well, share it with them so they could see it on my phone. Man, the shock, the sadness, I have a few things. One, I have been young, hung out, clubbed, been out in a gas station just like that, right? In my lifetime, at some point in my life. So that's one thing that crossed my mind, just looking at it, reminiscing like, oh yeah, I've done that. I've been around when people have got to scrapping, and whether it was egos, alcohol, whatever, I've been out there after a late night and you see that and witness that. So reminisced on a little of that and while I'm watching it. I've even seen some violence. I've never seen that though. Right. So that was the thing that just kind of went like, wow, like I've never seen this. I never heard this. Like this is some next level extra. Oh my goodness shit. So I think I was just shocked, and I guess it is to me also symptomatic of because I've watched videos of people just fighting in this instance where, I don't know, whatever the websites or you see it on social media where someone catches a brawl that breaks out in the gas station. So I'm also thinking like, that this has been taken to the next level too. Like now I'm watching not just two people fighting, but somebody jumped in a car and rolled over. Right. Like, what the hell? Where are we today? Like, what's going on to where shit like this is happening? Kind of like what we just talked about, the same subject. Like, it just seems like I'm living in another universe. But that's what I thought then. 2 days later, the other thought I had was that as shocked as I was 2 days ago, what makes this gun, this car, any different than another weapon like a gun? Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, what I just witnessed was really where we are in terms of our respect for life and how we resolve conflict. Like I think that's the bigger issue, is that whether you are shooting somebody, running somebody over by a car, however you are doing harm to somebody and taking their life. And it ain't just this. This was just caught on video. People are murdered in our communities, in our country, fucking every day. All right. Like, that's really what we witnessed. Again, another example of that. That's where we are as a society, and that shit needs to change, man. That just got to stop. We're going the wrong direction.
Yeah. I don't know, like, Jay, how crazy is it? Because like Al said, we've all been in this situation where we get in a heated argument or we get into, some kind of disagreement with somebody, and either we've all been in a situation. I've been in a situation where I've said something I completely regret. You know what I'm saying? I can't imagine jumping in my car and just running people over some shit that I'm forgot about tomorrow. Like, how crazy is, like, have you ever been in that situation, Jay, where you thought possibly that you could have taken it to the next level, like, or like that
me personally?
That fuse could have,
no, not me personally. However, like Al said, I've been around enough places where one of my favorite of all hood lines, like just in general, every hood you go to, is "Stay right there." That's one of my favorite things.
Right.
That line always makes me laugh. It makes me like so the equivalent of "stay right there" means I'm getting ready to go get something to come try and hurt you with. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. So as shocking as the image was, it wasn't really any different. It's just that, like, I'll kind of hit that nail on the head. It was not any different than "stay right there. I'm finna go to my trunk." And instead of going to her trunk, she went to her truck. Right. Like, that is the only difference, is that because it wasn't a gun, we can act like this is different. But in reality, she chose the deadliest weapon she had and used it with deadly force.
Right.
And just like when people shoot sometimes, they shoot the wrong person. Right. And, it's 2, like 3, 4, boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
Like, I've been in places where bullets was flying. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is people who were not supposed to, weren't even involved in the situation, got shot. Mm-hmm. But this is going to sound so heartless, but it's almost more focused that she went and got something and aimed.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, the collateral damage in this case was her best friend.
Right.
As opposed to a random bystander, because just firing off in the crowd, that's anybody.
Right.
I was at a parade in New Orleans and they was firing off in the crowd. This was a Mardi Gras parade, one of them, because it's at least 730 of them. Yeah. It was one of the Mardi Gras parades, and I remember we heard the gunshots, and my little cousin just said, "Oh, I hope they shot my car. I need a new car."
Wow.
Like zero shock, zero, like it wasn't no get low, get around the, no, she was just like, oh, I hope they shot my car. That's around where my car at. And, you know, like, are we desensitized to it? Kind of.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't, when I saw this, my thought, because like I was watching it while I was talking, and my only thought was, well, I mean, she aimed. You know, like I understand all of her charges. That is 100% first degree murder. Yeah, you know what? Stay right there.
Yeah, that's a big ass bullet, though.
It's a big ass bullet, and a bullet that she could hit many people with.
All right,
and she did.
Yeah, I was watching the news a couple of days ago where someone in an act of road rage shoots into a car and shoots a baby in the stomach, a 2-year-old.
The fuck.
Like,
it's crazy, man.
This is in Baltimore.
Shit, so, in Newberry, Al, last night, 22-year-old dude got shot leaving work. Somebody posted up outside of his job, waited for him to come out at 1 o'clock in the morning and shot him. Like,
for what?
I don't know for what. I don't know. Obviously there was some background there, but I kept seeing this kid's picture posted all over Facebook today, and people saying, you know, and that's kind of like being from a small town, like growing up, like all that crazy shit like that was kind of foreign, where I could kind of be like, man, that shit goes on to other places, not where I grew up. And so in the last month, like, you know, girl, I mentioned it in a few episodes ago, this girl I went to high school with was found dead in a ditch up the street from my father's house. And now this, and it's just like, yo, like, shit's everywhere. And we could pretend we live in certain bubbles, you know, in certain communities, but
it ain't true.
Not no more.
Like, at this point, I honestly believe that it has to do a lot with the fact that there are so many people. When the population booms the way that it has, the sense of community immediately goes away, turns into a sense of self. Now it's just me. I gotta make it. I gotta da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And so with the addition of that, if we were to say 1 out of every 1,000 people is an absolute insane person, got some kind of problem, some sort of mental something, and I'm being generous when I say 1 out of 1,000. I'm just being generous there. There's 300 million and change people, 350 million people in this country right now. So that 1 out of 1,000 now becomes
that's a lot of crazy folks.
A lot of crazy motherfuckers out there. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people who don't think all the way through the repercussions, or who don't, not even the repercussions, who don't think through a life is valuable. Like, they've stopped thinking about including their own. I will throw my own life away to end yours.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there are people there's the proportion, the number of people has gotten so large that proportion is so large that it's so commonplace that it's starting to it infiltrates places that it wasn't normally. You know, you're used to this in a big city where everybody's stacked on one another and nobody is really paying attention to anything except getting to their next destination.
And I don't see a lot of messaging countering what they're displaying. So, like, not to say that they're hearing everywhere they go an anti-life message, but I don't see a lot of promotion of the other. So, like, where's the inspirational, hopeful, like, I wonder, where's that? Like, if there are people ain't going to church, if they ain't listening to parents, if it's not on TV, they ain't really checking TV. We know social media is all jacked up. You know, like, it's just a lot of things happening. And then when you think about the stress that people are living under, like, it's just a lot of negative for lack of a better word, I'm using air quotes, things going on in people's lives, and where's the positive? Like, right. I don't think there's enough of that going on also to balance that, to give people a different perspective.
Not even close. Like when we were talking, I remember back the autumn episodes ago, we were talking about Chicago that first weekend. Mm-hmm. And I remember very distinctly being like, dude, we hear about all the murders, but we don't hear about the youth centers, the people that are actually going to work every day trying to make sure kids is eating, trying to make sure people have something positive to do after work, trying to make sure positive thoughts are being put in their heads after school, trying to make we don't ever hear about those people. The unsung heroes are literally at this point unsung now. They're not, nobody is calling their names.
You don't see it in the news. You don't see it in the music on the radio. You don't really see it in a lot of Hollywood. I mean, Hollywood does, but a lot of Hollywood's about selling sex and violence.
That's it.
You know what I mean? Like, so again, if you are going down the wrong road and your crew or people or your peers also are going with you, where is the action? What's pulling you the other direction?
Well, there's no elders anymore.
Yeah, and that's what so you don't even see it in the communities. Like, you don't even see people giving credit to those people. You don't see it in community centers anymore. You don't see it posted on billboards. You don't see it anymore.
You don't see it anywhere. Like, you know what I mean? The diagnosis, shout out Simba, like the people that he's talking to, those are one a week.
But we all know that those stories, that messaging that exists is out there though. Mm-hmm. Like, so while they might not be, we as a society might not be exposed to it from a mainstream way, but we all know that there's a lot of great things going on in this country.
Right. There are great humans, there are great people, there are people that are trying to build up other people, but the issue is that those people are the ones that are avoiding social media. They're the ones that are avoiding the news. They are the ones that are trying to stay as far out of the spotlight. Like, they help people genuinely because they love helping people.
Right. And like,
good point.
And as opposed, you're right. And as opposed to the people who, record themselves feeding a homeless person and post it all over social media.
And hashtag helping the homeless. Hashtag philanthropy.
Exactly. So the motivation is different. And so instead of seeking out the people who are actually creating change, we're being force fed the people who have the facade of creating change.
And all that does is really perpetuate a selfishness, a sense of, to what y'all was saying earlier, this is me over everybody. Me. Because even though I'm helping somebody, I'm not helping them.
Right.
No, I'm helping them for me. See. I'm helping you see that I'm helping.
And I'm helping my likes and my views. Right. And like, can you imagine like the lowest part of your life, the lowest part of your life? Imagine that, wherever that was. We all have that moment, like or that stretch in life, whatever that was. The lowest part of your life. Imagine if some idiot came up and recorded it and posted it all over social media.
As a selfie, though, like that's the part that gets me. Not even recording from behind the camera, but recording so that they can be seen also doing it.
Exactly. So,
but again, that's the society that we are. That's being perpetuated. The get on TV, get viral, get seen, get noticed, get likes. Like, likes are probably the biggest addiction problem that exists.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
But those that shy away, like you jokingly was like, you're not really on Facebook. Like, nah, because like I don't want to be addicted to likes.
All right.
I don't want to. People take pictures of their food, or I'm sitting somewhere and people take pictures of their drinks. I'm like, dude, I'm eating my food. Like, what are you doing? Why is this a thing? However, that could, at this point, I feel like I'm starting to sound like the get off my
Get off my leg, right?
Yeah. Own it and embrace it, fellas.
Right.
That's what I feel like I sound like.
Yeah, it's okay. Own it and embrace it. Own it and embrace it. So we were out to dinner probably about 2 weeks ago. But Jay, we was actually having dinner with your sister, and she's in Atlanta. We're out, me, her, my wife, my son. Behind us is two fellas, and they got their phone up. They're like Facebooking live while they're eating, and just got the phone up, like just. And people are watching them eat out at a restaurant. Like
shit is so foreign
restaurant
to me.
life said restaurant
Right.
life.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what we doing now, y'all? That's what we doing.
Like,
The idea
that's a
of
whole
having
nother
an
topic
experience.
we'll have to talk about next show. Cause
Like for real. Because the idea of having an experience and just having that experience,
right, we've lost that ability.
That's somehow just plain gone.
Yeah.
You know, like there's people. I used to joke with people all the time that I live a real Vegas lifestyle. They're like, "What do you mean?" Like, dude, if you were there with me, you could tell me what happened.
Right.
Because you're there with me.
Yeah.
It's not posted anywhere. I ain't got pictures of it because everybody's first. Even nowadays, no matter what it is, if you tell somebody a funny story, oh, you got that pic? So you got pics?
Right.
So?
Yeah. Send me
I
that.
ain't got pics. I didn't even think about having my phone out because I was watching it happen.
Right.
Like
What's
I
so
feel like I tell a more interesting story than this picture can.
Right.
I like that. I like the way you phrase it, that Vegas lifestyle, because I think I had a Vegas mentality before social media, and I think at some point you get, because I was late to get into the social media game. I mean, in the Facebook, like, I ain't getting on that. Finally got on it and got hooked, and at some point you just start looking at yourself in the mirror and you're like, yo, my Vegas spirit is gone. Like now I got a Hollywood spirit. Wait a minute.
It's a Hollywood spirit, right?
That's not you. That's not you. And I had to step back. Like, I don't want to live this life. I don't want to. Some of it needs to be private. Like, you don't need to see all of this. You don't need to see all of this.
These memories are mine. Like I you good, bad, or indifferent. And however I look at whatever I saw, I have to admit and accept that I saw it. I did it. I was there for it, but I don't need you to have visual evidence that can show me exactly what happened.
Yeah, I mean, at this
exactly
point,
what happened in the middle of it.
Yeah, if I know many people may hate me for this, but if it ain't got shit to do with Defy Life, I'm off social media.
Yeah, I feel you.
So,
but I will give it its props, like from a connecting perspective, that I have a lot of value in it.
Yeah, it certainly has positives. The problem is that one bad apple has spoiled the bunch, and so now the positives are a little moldy. They got a couple of brown spots on them.
Right.
Y'all can have that.
Yeah, man. We'll have to expand on that topic next week. So if y'all remember, shoot me a reminder to include that as a topic next week, because we can dig deeper in this social media thing. But yeah, man. We got a couple listener questions, as always. My first one is from Regular Scott. Regular Scott, shout out to him and Oz, Take a Knee for Marvel versus DC. But Scott shot me an email. It was a question that was posed to him on Twitter, speaking of social media, and he forwarded it on to us. I guess Scott blatantly stole, and he told me he stole our topic last week about rivals.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, and so instead of doing sports rivals, Scott did superhero rivals and comic book rivals. So that was a fun conversation. So he's paying it back, and he's giving us one of his topics. So Al, you first. Scott's question is: if a movie studio decided to make a movie about your podcast, who would you cast as yourself, and who would you cast as your co-host?
Oh, wow. See, I'm unprepared. Usually I read the topics and have a list. But I'm going with, let's do it quick. I'm going to have Ice Cube play me. Mm-hmm. And
I like that a lot.
You like that? West Coast. I'm going to have, in the Friday theme. I'll have Mike Epps play West Coast.
Nice.
That's funny. He was like third on my list in my mind.
Okay. For JR, I'm gonna get Shaquille O'Neal to make show people his acting skills.
Okay.
And
that's hilarious.
let folk know that don't sleep on Shaq. Shaq can do it all, and let him come in. For money, since we got an athlete playing, doing an actor, I'm gonna have a rapper doing his acting debut. And since I just still think my man sound like J. Cole, I'm gonna get one of my favorite actors to join my movie cast, J. Cole, and he gonna play Money. And then we'll wrap it up with Yosh doing the cameo, and him being from Jersey. Okay, I'm gonna have to get the dude from the Bricks to come through. And if J. Cole, one of my favorite rappers, is an actor, then Redman said he can come through and be on the cast as well. So I'm going Ice Cube, Mike Epps, Shaquille, J. Cole, Redman, starring Defy Life Network.
All right. And Pooh, you have officially been written out of the movie, I guess.
Damn, I forgot about Pooh. See what happens when you don't come through? You too busy being Jason Bourne?
Right.
My bad, Pooh.
Man. Oh. I guess Pooh going to be played by Tommy Strong.
Who played dude? Who was in the Five Heartbeats?
Oh shit!
I gotta look him up. I'm sorry, my bad.
Wright. Michael Wright, the guy that played Eddie Kane Jr.
Yes, that's what I want to know. Who played Eddie Kane?
Who played Eddie Kane? Y'all cold. Eddie Kane.
Oh man, Michael Wright playing Thomas.
That's who's going to be playing.
Cool. All right. I like that. All right, West Coast. What say you? Who's playing you, and who are being cast to play your co-hosts?
Well, my first thought was immediately. My first thought was a comedian. So, like off top, the name that popped into my head was like young Dave Chappelle.
Okay.
Like young Dave to play me. I had Ving Rhames playing JR. I needed somebody that was a bully overall, yeah. Somebody that could still instill fear over the airwaves.
Why y'all got to paint this picture of me like I'm just
okay?
Hey, Kingpin J, man, it's not a game. There's a reason why I chose Ving Rhames. He also played the Kingpin, so
At least I gave you a bully with a sense of humor.
Right.
All right, this is where it got interesting to me. Al, I was stuck. 2 of the top 5 actors both popped into my head for you.
Oh.
One was Sam Jackson.
All right, I'll take that. I'll take Sam.
And then the other was actually Denzel.
Can't go wrong either way.
Like, I'm thinking about there's times where you are Lonzo from Training Day. My man.
And other times he's Malcolm X.
There's other times where I'm dealing with Malcolm X.
We've been bamboozled. Let us stray.
You know what I'm saying? There's other times I'm dealing with Easy Rollins from Devil in a Blue Dress.
Wow.
And like it depends on. So that's where my thought was with you.
And catch me on a Saturday night, you're gonna get Gator from
right. At any given point, that's what I'm saying. So like I had you at either Denzel or Sam Jackson, but if I gotta give you Denzel, then I gotta give Yosh Sam Jackson.
Damn right.
just because of the over the top personality that is always involved,
and the obligatory motherfucker every now and then.
Every motherfucker that happens, like every single time. Like there's that one. I think I got Don Cheadle playing Money, and here's why. Don Cheadle could legitimately do anything at any given point. Like I said, my favorite was his version of Mouse from that Devil in a Blue Dress. And every time Money talk about, you always got my thing on me, you know what I'm saying? If it's really going down like that, that's all I could think of was, if you didn't want him killed, you should have left with me. You shouldn't have left with me. I think I got young Morgan Freeman trying to play Pooh. Just because the more I think about it, like whenever Pooh show up, he say real poignant shit, and then disappear for months.
Right.
Like Morgan Freeman is now just notorious as the voice of God. Like notorious as it. That's just what he do. He show up, he voices God, he leaves.
He do have a great voice.
So that's about, I think that's where I'm gonna go. Chappelle for me. I got Ving Rhames for Jay. I got Denzel for Al. I got Sam Jackson for Yosh, and I got Don Cheadle playing Money.
Oh man! All right,
that's a great cast.
That is a great cast. It's funny.
All filmed at Tyler Perry Studios.
All filmed, right. Oh man. Yeah, it's funny, West Coast, you mentioned Ving Rhames. He was actually second on my list for me. But I actually considering the flack over Suge Knight I've been getting over the last few weeks, I went with Richard Taylor, the guy who played Suge Knight in Straight Outta Compton.
Hilarious.
So so he's actually an actor, and so I went with him. Al, and I know you may have heard this from me over the years, or probably many people over the years. There's an actor who reminds me so much of my cousin. To this day, he does. Kadeem Hardison is playing Al. Yeah. So the accent, the mannerisms. So Kadeem Hardison is playing Al. West Coast. Funny you mentioned Dave Chappelle and comedian. I actually went Dave Chappelle for you.
That's fair.
Yeah. For Yosh, I went with the dude who played Eazy-E. Can't remember his name. He played Eazy-E in Straight Outta Compton. A little short dude. Yeah. For some reason, I just feel like it fits. And a lot of these dudes don't even know their names, but they just like remind me of people. Like Money, I went with, so 8 Mile, Eminem's crew, the two brothers, the tall big dude, and he had his brother was a skinny dude with glasses.
In the movie?
In the movie, yeah. The one who damn, I can't remember his name, but I cannot remember his name in the movie. D'Angelo Wilson, I think is his real name. I just thought about it. I think his name is D'Angelo Wilson, but he skinny guy who's always talking about rapping, just real cool, funny dude. You remind me of Money. And then Pooh, I'm actually going with Mekhi Phifer.
That makes sense. I thought about Pooh again too. I could also give Common a nod to play Pooh.
Okay. So go on Mekhi Phifer for Pooh. Just because I don't know. Whenever I hear Mekhi say, if I ever find them, they're fucking dead. They're fucking dead. Like that just remind me of Pooh.
Hilarious.
When Pooh says my body different, B.
My body different, B.
It gotta be Makai Fife.
Body different,
The
B.
classics.
Right. So there you go, Scott. Yeah, it was a pretty good question and funny. And whoever played the prodigal son, that'll be Keon Small, I guess. So yeah.
Wow.
All right. So shout out to Scott. Next question
Scott.
is from Rocky in Gainesville, Florida. West Coast. Rocky wants to know. It's a damn good question because I ask myself this so much that it happens so often. What the hell is up with women refusing to say thank you when you hold the door open for them? Yeah, man.
So I'm going directly back to the comedians. Dave Chappelle, when he said chivalry is dead and women killed it.
Right.
Like that's the irony is, I remember when I was talking about the things he don't rock with, like he murdered somebody. I remember that same episode. I was like, dude, what happened to just common courtesy?
Right.
You know, like I say thank you when people hold doors for me. If people hit that, if I'm running to the elevator and somebody hit the open button, like thanks. Like just a simple that I don't know where it's gone. I don't know why it left. You know, I come from a line of gentlemen. Like we still open doors for ladies, car doors, trips people. I had a homie dead serious tell me one day because I opened the door for a girl. He was like, "Man, you can't just be opening the door for random bitches." I was like, "Dude,
Damn.
if it has a vagina, I'm probably opening the door for it." Like, doesn't matter how old or young it is.
Right.
If it has a vagina, I'm probably opening the door for it. Like, that's just what I was taught, how I was trained, whatever you want to call it. Like, my dad still does it for my mother. My grandfather did it for my grandmother. Like, I can't help it.
All right.
So, as for the not saying thank you, I think a lot of that has to do with what we were talking about earlier. It's me. Most of the time, if you're holding the door for somebody these days, their face is in their phone. They don't even notice.
Right. That's true.
Like, legit, just plain don't notice. You know, and I was walking behind a lady today, and I was easily a step and a half behind her. She let the door close in my face.
Damn.
Fuck what I was over here talking about. Just whatever I was doing didn't matter at all. But she was facing phone, head down, moving forward. So like, I think a lot of it has to do with that fact that these days the smartphone is making people dumb
And less courteous.
and courteous is common courtesy is now an uncommon thing. So me and my brother many years ago started referring to stuff as uncommon courtesy. You know, just little things, just saying thanks, just holding the door. My favorite is when when there's a bunch of people that are filing into like an office building. Jay know where I work. I work in an office building, and so if there's a bunch of people, it's 8:25. Obviously, the 8:30 rush is on. Right. If I'm the dude that's first, I'm holding the door for like 9 people. My favorite is like number 3 and number 8 say thanks.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, this is generally what happens, and then everybody, and then probably number 8's gonna look at you, and like say like, "Oh, you got caught holding the door, huh?"
You got caught with the door, right?
Right.
I would say most people that I hold the door from say thank you. I'll give people credit. Like, I tend to hold the door for ladies generally. A dude, yeah, if I'm feeling nice. But I think I have limits when it comes to mine. Like, I'm not one to do chairs. Like that's not on my list. I don't pull out chairs, and I also don't open car doors. That's not on my list either. But I know, everybody got their list. But when I do open car doors, the doors in buildings, I would give it 90% of full. I'll give them credit, say thank you. And, I think where we at, though, in society, you shouldn't do nice stuff expecting people to say thank you because
They're not going to.
they not focused, right? They on some other shit.
Right.
Right.
Like I said, it goes right back to people who do things just to be good people, not looking for really accolades.
Right.
They're just doing it because that's what they do.
Yeah. And like I do like it does happen. When it does happen, like Al said, it's like I'll hold the door if it's like for a dude, if he's like right behind me. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because I don't, shit, he's right there. But like, I don't hold the door for anybody when they gotta, like, they so far away they gotta do the fake jog to get to the door. Like, that's just pointless to me.
So wait. Once I start my fake jog, you gonna close the door?
That's
Oh
hilarious.
no! I gauge it. I gauge it before you start. Like I see how far you are behind me. I'm like, I'm not holding this door for this long. They're just gonna have to open it when they get there.
I even once I start my jog, you're
Even
gonna
the
be
fake
like,
jog, no.
Oh no! If you start your fake jog before I start holding the door, that's on you. Like
That's on you.
that's
You hit
on
the
you.
high knee.
you
Right.
know you too far. You know
Right.
you too far. I'm not holding this door.
Drop your elbows, man. I'm not holding this door for
You
you.
said drop your elbow.
Right.
Keep your knees below your
Yeah.
waist.
I'm not
You
doing
can
it.
stop running now. You can
But I
stop running now
will.
because I'm not holding the door.
Yeah, but if I legit hold the door for a female, I don't like, and she'll say thank you, I'll just give her the asshole sarcastic "you're welcome," and just keep it moving.
Yeah. No,
So,
I gotta
will you-
put- well,
Will
that
you
one.
hold the door for the woman who's 15 feet away walking or the fake jog? Or is it a gender thing with the
No,
fake
that's
jog?
nobody. Like I ain't holding the door
Nobody.
for 15 steps. Like that's crazy.
Said 15 steps is too. Like if it's between 8 and
Right.
12, all right.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm still watching you.
Right.
Are you running? Are you walking fast?
Like and I was, I played point guard at some part of my life, so my peripheral is good. So if I see you out the corner of my eye that you that far away, I ain't even gonna acknowledge that you there. I'm just gonna walk through the door. So it ain't gonna be like I ain't gonna notice if you started your jog or not. Like I know you far away enough for me. Far away enough for me to just say, look, man, that's too far. This is going to be awkward.
Yeah,
and
I've got to stand here and wait,
now-
and you have to acknowledge me.
But now sometimes it is based off situation. Like if it's somebody I know, if they going, like if it's somebody that sits next to me in the office and we're going to probably strike up a conversation, I'll say, hey, how you doing? And talk to them on the way to the door. That may happen, every now and then. Or, even like you said, car doors, Al. Generally, I don't. But, if it's situational, like if me and my wife are going out on a date night, I'll open the car door. Yeah,
That's
so
hilarious.
it's situational. But if we like making a run to the gas station or, carpooling to work, now you got that door because I got to get to work. So, yeah. But, yeah, I don't know, like, and in ladies' defense, though, and not saying it's right, but if somebody's been holding the door for you for your entire life, you probably become a little desensitized to it, and it becomes expected. So, I get it.
That's
what you
also
say.
true. That's also a
Chivalry
thing.
is dead and women killed.
And women
Right?
killed it.
Yeah, he killed it. So, absolutely. But damn good question, Rocky. I hope it gets better for you. Obviously, it happened. It had to happen to Rocky a few times for him to send this question in. Though.
That was something that was fresh on his mind.
Right?
You know what?
I'm emailing the file.
Like you done flashed at work. Somebody that got cussed out in the elevator. All the et cetera.
He had to be like, had enough of this shit. I'm emailing.
Right,
them.
right. I gotta ask these brothers what they think.
So,
I'm over this.
yeah. Oh man. Well, I appreciate you guys, regular Scott, Rocky. Thanks for your questions. We enjoy these answering your questions
Always.
every week. Keep sending them in. If you got something you want to ask us, you got something you want to get off your chest, or if you just disagree with something we say, definitely email us at info@godefylife.com, or you can hit us up on social media, all platforms at Go Defy Life. We are going to jump into a commercial. We'll come back. We're going to talk some NFL. But we'll be right back right after this.
Sparking positive change in the community, having real conversations and therapy. You know that laughter's the best remedy. Got that heavy dose of humor for your hearts to heal. With mental health, it can't get any more real, yeah. Best Medicine Podcast. Laugh, love, learn. Best Medicine Podcast.
Best Med Pod, it's your man Simba Roar back in this thing one more time, bruh. Come get your weekly diagnosis Thursday at midnight, only on the Defy Life Podcast Network. Check us out, though.
Welcome back to the Defy Life Podcast. This is episode 129. That was our guy Simba Roar from the Diagnosis Podcast, the Best Med Pod, all over social media. Definitely check Simba out. Jay, you mentioned him earlier with the people he has on his show, making difference in the community. So check out the Diagnosis Podcast with Simba Roar, only on the Defy Life Podcast Network. So guys, it is time for a little bit of NFL talk. As I ask you guys every week, Al, after
Yes,
week
sir.
6 in the NFL, what do you know you know?
Okay. So it was an interesting weekend when it comes to the NFL. I mean, first, let's just say refereeing is a major concern right now. And I think it is totally affecting the game. It has been bad before in different seasons. But I think the adding on this video to the situation, and I was one, few of us was saying we was against it from jump, like that this was an overreaction. And I stand by that I think their NFL, and as it does in often, not always, but often, overreacted from the public and just overcorrected. And I just think this caused more problems than it has solved. But that's a whole nother subject. That Jets-Cowboy game is what I want to talk about. Man. So let's just start with the Jets. I think when you from a Jets perspective, as a Jet fan, like that was just a comforting experience. Like we got to see what a good quarterback can do, and not even good, what a quarterback who's doing a job, what that makes, how other players look when all they have to do is do their job. Right. And I think the Jets over the first 4 games realized that we ain't good enough if we don't have a quarterback who can distribute the ball, read defenses, make the right throws, stay controlled, make a big play. We ain't that good. But when we do have a quarterback that does that, and everybody just has to do their job, offensive line looks better, wide receivers look like they can catch, defense looks better. So Bell was making plays. I'm really happy as a Jet fan just to think that that was the best thing that could happen going into this Patriots game. That, not that, I'm picking the Jets, but if you were, being a little bit more confident based on that, the win, I'm glad. All right. When the Cowboys, now put on my cowboy hat. Put on the cowboy hat for a second. Okay. I'm definitely at a space where I am like just disappointed and like I think when you look at what happened on Sunday, it's consistent to what we've seen in their losses. An inconsistent team that isn't playing good football play after play after play after play after play. Like, they might play it in stretches, but then somebody doesn't catch a pass, or there's a penalty, or somebody, you know what I mean? Like, and that's the difference between a okay team and the better teams in this league. The reason the better teams are able to win, in my opinion, is the mistakes. They don't beat themselves. They make plays and they don't beat themselves. Man, there were so many drop passes. And, you know, granted, we had people injured, but everybody got people injured. These were like, there were plays and drives that just stopped the drive. And it's like, you're moving the ball and it's like, oh, he didn't catch that ball, but now we punted. Or he should have caught that ball, he didn't. Now Green Bay's making an interception. Like, hold on. Like, damn. And so that's coaching or the locker room, in my opinion.
So that was about to be my question to you: is how much of this you're starting to sound like a Tar Heel fan on the low, where they're just over Roy Williams? How much are you? Are you over Jason Garrett?
I've been one who's consistently stayed in Jason Garrett's corner because I like his approach. I like his rhetoric. Like, I like him as a coach, but at the same time, effort isn't good enough. Like, at the end of the day, results is what matters. And I think the results at this point aren't looking in his favor. But I'm not one just to throw away something just to throw away something. Like, I always like to believe that there's something better out there. So I would be okay if after this season, if this is what we are going to see for the rest of the season, all that to say, at this point, based on the results, I would be okay, even though I've been in his corner, if they didn't sign him and went another direction, because what you have here is a very young, talented team. And not young as in fresh out the league, but young as in at the very early stages of their prime. So I think you don't want to waste this, and you want to develop it, because I'm not shocked that the players at this phase, this point of his career, they're not playing consistently because they're young. Like, there's no the Sean Lee, the Jason Wittens, the veterans of the team who might actually in some locker rooms like be snatching people up and be like, yo, we got to play better. That's who they are. In my opinion, it would be Sean Lee and Jason Witten in terms of their age and what they've accomplished. But each of them right now, when you really think about it, Jason Witten just coming out of the broadcast booth, how much credit do you have in this locker room? And Sean Lee, yeah, we give you a lot of respect, but you ain't even playing but 30% of the game. So are we really listening to you? Or do you have the ability to snatch somebody up and be like, yo, dude, we got to play today. Come on, let's get right. So I don't know who is that player, and we need to see one of these young boys develop into that player. That, to me, is when this team makes the difference. Whether it's Jalen Smith, Zeke, Dak, who's going to be the guy to say, like in the spirit of a Ray Lewis, like, you know, what made Ray Lewis special? He was a great leader all his career. You know what I mean? So if somebody have that dog in him to be like, yo, really? We ain't losing to the Eagles this week. And you know why we're not losing to the Eagles this week? Because this is going to be our best week of practice. And we're going to focus, and we're going to come into this game ready to knock somebody on their ass, play 1 through play 65. That's how we're playing this week. And if not, see me in the locker room. If you ain't willing to play like that, see me in the locker room. Like, who that player? And that's what they need. They need somebody to rally the team like that so that we play a lot more consistently. Because at this point, we looking real regular. Real regular.
Yeah. And one thing I noticed from watching the Cowboys on the field is they don't have an identity. Like,
nope.
Are you a running team that sets up the pass through play action? Are you a passing? Like, they just don't have an identity. A defense, like, are you a pass rushing team? Are you a team that stops the run and set up the long? Like you said, there's no consistency in their execution, so it leads to a lack of identity. I don't get what they're trying to accomplish half the time, except in those spurts, like you mentioned.
I think, what you have is, honestly, extremely young offense coordinator in his career, figuring it out. Mm-hmm. And you wonder, if Jason Garrett, if my job is on the line, how long do I allow this young guy to figure it out? I mean, everybody say he's a genius, but he ain't been looking like a genius the last 3 games. And part of what you want from your offensive coordinator, and it's, I don't want to, I didn't want to overreact after 3 wins. I don't want to overreact after 3 losses either. But I will say this, though. What I'm not seeing in all 6 games is a creativity and utilization in a different kind of way, like that I would hope to see out of somebody new. Like, where the screens, where the, you know what I mean? Like, wide receiver screens, where the end around. Like, I just was hoping for more. Like, this looks like Jason Garrett in many ways. Same offense I saw last year. I'm looking for a little bit more spice too, which I ain't seeing.
Well, I guess we know that Cowboys loss hurts more than
the Jets win.
Jets win feels good.
It definitely does. And again, I definitely learned that, at least in football, I have a favorite child. I really do. I don't think that's the case in baseball or basketball, but in football, Cowboys hold a little bit more weight.
Okay. All right. West Coast. What say you? What do you know after week 6 in the NFL?
What do I know? I know that if there's time on the clock, you do not want the ball in the following quarterback's hands. And this is from an opposing team's perspective. You do not want Aaron Rodgers to have time on the clock. You do not want Russell Wilson to have time on the clock. You do not want Tom Brady to have time ever. And really, those 3 are the only ones that have been consistently doing it. There's a couple of they're almost theirs. You got Matty Ice. Matt Ryan is almost there. He used to be like, dude, don't leave Matty Ice no time because him and Julio gonna figure this out. Right. But Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson stand out to me more so than anybody else, because who was the dude who kept making the catch at the end of that game?
Lazard or something, the tall dude, right? Where he come from?
Where was that dude last week?
Alan Lazard,
dude,
Iowa State.
Right. See, now Jay know that
playmaker,
and then Russell Wilson is the other way. The other reason why I bring him up is because he's done the same thing with a whole bunch of weight. Who's that dude he's throwing the ball to?
Right.
Like, he lost his tight end, but the backup tight end came in, made a bunch of catches. Right. Like, what's the backup tight end's name? I still don't know off the top of my head. Tyler Lockett gets in there. Tyler Lockett is your real number 1 receiver. Like, is he really? Right. But I guess he is. It was, I think you said that to me earlier this season. I was like, dude, Doug Baldwin was a good receiver. You're like, was he? Or was it Russell Wilson making him a good receiver? It's like, that's a fair question.
Very fair, good question.
And then Tom Brady is just the obvious time, because Tom Brady's throwing the ball to everybody. It didn't matter who it was. He was just like, that dude was open right there. So, but those 3, like, I know that if my team is winning by less than 3, that Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and Tom Brady cannot get the ball back with any time on the clock.
That's so
Those
true.
three in particular. I also know that the ref situation is evolving itself into a real situation. I don't remember. I think I was listening to a podcast somewhere, and somebody said that there's certain things that you just know are getting ready to happen. When the Cowboys got the ball back, down by 8, I knew that they were going to score a touchdown, and that the game was going to come down to a 2-point conversion. Now, on the way, the refs made it happen.
Right.
Then at the end of the Lions and Packers game in particular, Aaron Rodgers, I knew Aaron Rodgers was going to drive down the field, but there was a couple of hands to the face penalties where the hands wasn't at the face. Mm-hmm. Now, did David Bakhtiari sell those? Yeah. Yeah, he did. But the ref was standing there staring at him sell it. You're supposed to be able to make that call. So there was a couple of plays, like Booger McFarland had me dying. He was so angry about it. Like, no. We as players cannot have the referees changing the game like that. That is 2 plays where they changed the game.
He went 100.
Like, damn, Booger, you mad for real. Like, legit actually angry about this. And the refs they're not adding to the game at all. Like a ref should be like a UFC, a good UFC referee is seen but not heard. They stop the fight on time. But they let them do what they need to do. The NFL refs, on the other hand, I feel like they part of there's no reason why I know off the top of my head 4 of the head officiating's names. Mm-hmm. I can't think of an NBA ref's name that I just know off the top of my head. But off the top of my head, I know that Jerome Boger. I know that there's Ed Hockley's son. There's a Walt. I can't remember Walt's last name off the top of my head right now. But you know what I mean? Like, the fact that I can name these referees means that they're too involved in the football game.
Right.
Like, their uniforms
Gene Steratore,
right. You know what I'm saying? Mike Pereira, you retired. You in the booth. I'm supposed to know your name. You in the booth.
All these names sounded real familiar.
They're real familiar. Yet I still don't know who Lazard is. And he's actually making plays. Right. But I know the refs. So they're becoming a storyline, like a bad soap opera. Like, they're just one of the storylines where you're just like, dude, why do we have to watch this? Can we get back to the one? Can we just get to Sonny and Carly? Like, why am I sitting here watching this?
It's pretty bad.
Yeah. And then the other thing I know is that Kool-Aid smell good when you put enough sugar in it. But I refuse to drink the Niner Kool-Aid until the Seahawks get defeated.
Wow. Go on and jump on the bandwagon, man. They looking
Not
good.
even a bandwagon. I got fat heads on my wall. I got
I'm saying, enjoy it. They looking good. They looking good.
I like our defensive line.
I
still can't stand the running back situation. I just want them to pick one and go with him. But that's mostly because I play fantasy. So,
no.
But you know what I mean? Like, I like the fact that all 3 of them are effective in all 3 of their ways. Like, Matt Breida is fast and can catch the ball. Tevin Coleman is Tevin Coleman. Fast and can catch the ball. Mostert is fast and can catch the ball. Like, all of them they all sort of do the same thing. But the fact that we can just be like, okay, this time it's your drive, go. All right, this time it's and I do like the fact that it's each drive. Like, whatever drive it is, like, all right, this is your drive, go. You finish this drive. You are the 3 down back for this drive. And then next drive comes along. You are the 3 down back for now. You are the 3 down back. I like that part. But like I said, until we beat the Seahawks, the Kool-Aid looked good. You know, so I've seen them put the sugar in it. It's nice looking. They've been stirring it for a while. Put a little Sprite in it and stuff. But I'm not drinking none of that Kool-Aid.
Not yet.
Not until they beat the Seahawks. Like the Rams they fit the profile. Every team that's won the NFC for the past bunch of years, like ends up losing, not even making the playoffs the next year.
Mm-hmm.
So the Rams are in free fall mode, although apparently they just traded for Jalen Ramsey.
There you go. We got breaking news.
Thank you for the breaking news.
Right. So, yeah, the Rams give up 2 first-round picks for Jalen Ramsey. Cornerback from Jacksonville. And they also trade Marcus Peters to the Ravens in exchange for linebacker Kenny Young. So,
and they picked up a lineman from the Browns.
Right. But yeah, and they lost, of course, Aqib Talib to injury for the year. So, I mean, easily an upgrade.
Definitely.
Rams, however you look at it.
Jalen's a baller.
100%. Like they just shored it up. Like the backfield, their defensive backfield was starting to. They weren't as feared as they were, but now they get that fear back. And like if they get Talib back before the end of the year, Talib and Jalen Ramsey, that's as good as any cornerback duo in the league.
Right. So who's on the other side of Jalen Ramsey now that they traded Peters?
That is a fair question. I don't know. Sure. I will look into it because since Peters is gone, I don't know who they just picked up because this is just
who does Baltimore have? How does Peters help their backfield?
Well, Jimmy Smith has been out for the last 5 games with a foot injury, so they don't know when he's coming back. And Marlon Humphrey is playing like one of the best corners in the league, so that's a pretty good tandem.
Marlon Humphrey's been playing lights out.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So that kind of gives them some shores them up on the other side because the guy that was replacing Jimmy Smith been looking terrible. So, and it depends on which Marcus Peters you're getting. You know, Marcus Peters has always been kind of
Pro Bowl Marcus Peters.
All right. And he's always been kind of feast or famine. Makes a lot of big plays, but he gives up a lot of big plays too. So, you know. But easily still an upgrade across Humphrey.
Definitely. So that's problematic. Anytime we trade, we get a legit star in the division. I'm angry about it.
Yeah.
So, like I said, the Kool-Aid looked nice. Looked like they didn't put extra sugar in it, like in an in-house party with the extra sugar.
Extra.
And the Rams have Tremaine Johnson and Janoris Jenkins at corner.
Huh?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about Janoris.
Yeah.
I thought Janoris was with the Giants. He ain't with the...
No, apparently not. So Ramsey and Janoris is crucial.
Yeah. I thought he was there with the Giants, too. But I'm looking at their
that's
chart.
old because Tremaine Johnson is with the Jets.
Yeah.
That's a few years back.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Let
me see. Okay, yep. So they got Marcus Peters and they don't have another one listed.
That's hilarious.
Roby Coleman.
Let me see. Rams
Nickel Roby Coleman and Marquise Christian. Yeah, so they needed Marcus Peters pretty bad.
They need Marcus Peters. So it's going to leave Dante Fowler Jr. No, that's a linebacker.
Yeah.
We got Jalen Ramsey and Darius Williams for the Rams. And David Long Jr. is the nickel.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So yeah, they needed a corner. So
Yeah, the rest of their defense still looks scary.
Yeah.
What y'all think about Cam? Y'all think he gets traded? Like with these rumors is legit, or what y'all think about that?
I don't think he gets traded. Simply because I'm hoping that the Panthers like waited out a little. At the end of the day, you got a dude who's it ain't like Kyle Allen's lighting the world on fire. It's just that the rest of the team's playing better, and he's not making crucial mistakes. So at any given time, he can come back down to earth, and you're gonna be looking at yourself like, "Damn, we traded Cam."
Right.
So
like Kyle Allen is playing like a serviceable backup. He's basically like what Teddy Bridgewater is doing in New Orleans.
Right.
Like you're not gonna trade Drew Brees because Teddy Bridgewater is undefeated as the backup.
Exactly.
Except that Cam's been losing and this guy's winning.
Yeah.
Cam's also been hurt the whole time.
I mean, no, I get it. I'm not saying I agree with everything I just said, including that Cam's been hurt. But I'm just saying if that guy was to keep on winning, that would be a real interesting, not about trading, about what do you do for your locker room and your team.
Yeah, I don't know if you give him the job back immediately. But like that could go either way. I definitely wouldn't trade him. But like Kyle Allen's pretty much been, it's like if you're in the NBA and you sign a dude who his one job, like you sign Kyle Korver, it's just to hit threes. You ain't expecting nothing else. And he's hitting those threes, everything looks great. That's what Kyle Allen's been doing. But, Kyle Korver starts missing threes, why do you have him in there? So if he starts missing, then why do you even have him there if he's not capable of making the big plays that Cam can make? He's not as good with his legs, but he's just not making those mistakes that Cam was making before. So I would say until he does, because he will start making those mistakes once they increase, his responsibilities. See if he can handle more. If he can't, you got to go back to Cam.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, because Kyle Allen is also benefiting from the fact that Christian McCaffrey is playing out of his mind. I think that was my early MVP pick. I'm just tossing that out there. But Christian McCaffrey's playing out of his mind. Like, he is doing all of the things. Defense. And that defense is playing lights out. Luke Kuechly is back to being the linebacker who was the most feared linebacker for a minute. Like he's doing all of the things he needs to do, and so it's that is significantly helpful, And it's also in Bridgewater's case, Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas are still playing like Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas. Right. So it's helpful that they had enough talent on that roster to be able to do that.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we shall see. And it's good that now that we're getting a little deeper in the season, things are starting to clear up a little. We actually know more than we knew at the beginning of the year. So it's getting interesting.
I will say this though, like one thing I'm still wondering about, just because of the talent that they played, the opponent so far. Like the Patriots still haven't played a real challenging team yet, so that's going to be interesting to see. When I have to look at their schedule to see when.
They got the Bills this week, so I'm curious to see how that game plays itself out. Because the Bills defense is actually playing quite well. Quite well.
Yeah, and but it's funny, like it ain't the Patriots offense that's been winning.
No, it's been the past
defense.
So I'm interested to see how.
But they haven't played good offense,
right? Either. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm interested in seeing is, like how that defense looks when they have to play the Texans, the Chiefs, teams like that can actually stretch them out and make them, where they're, where they can't scheme themselves to a win. So it's going to be interesting. And really quickly, the one thing I know, and I'm just going to be really quick. the Cleveland Browns are still the Browns. It's just that simple.
Hilarious.
Regardless
What's
of
up
what
with
we've been
Baker
told.
Mayfield?
He realized he's baking fucking Mayfield.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's a big drop off from one year to the next with just even his accuracy. Like, he looked real accurate last year. Now he be throwing behind wide receivers. I mean, his timing seems off. He makes too many commercials or something. They need to get back on the field, man.
Yeah, and I mean, play calling, they hadn't done many favors. His receivers have let him down a lot. The offensive line is pretty bad.
Looking at you, Callaway. Stop dropping the ball.
Yeah. Njoku's hurt. So
Odell doing what he can. That much is true.
But all that being
Nick
said,
Chubb is cool.
Baker Mayfield has been pretty bad.
Yeah, him, Carson Wentz, and Jared Goff. I can't figure out how all three of them seem to have regressed. Like, all three of them.
Yeah. And as for Wentz and Goff, like they've been in the league long enough where it's like maybe it's just a bad year. It happens to everybody. But Mayfield, I mean, he had a good half of a season last year, and this year's been pretty bad. Like, we don't know what he is yet. And as we always say, when teams start to get film on you, you got to be able to adjust and keep evolving your game. He hadn't done that, so we're still waiting to see what he really is.
Yep.
I don't know. So, I posted as beginning before every show, usually a day or two before the show, I'll post one of our topics on Facebook, Twitter, just to see what kind of response we get. So my question this week was, now that you've seen him against NBA size, length, and talent, how do you see Zion Williamson's rookie season going? Points per game, rebounds per game, total games played. So we got pretty good responses. First response we got, shout out to Kevin Gilliam. The next best thing to LeBron James out of high school. I think it will have a big impact on the league. So pretty bullish on him. Got another response. Shout out to Jay Lamont. I'll be the first to say I thought he was undersized for the position. I know basketball nowadays is pretty much positionless, but he doesn't have a jump shot yet. He has shocked me this preseason. I'm going to say 22-12 with 74 games played. So most people were pretty complimentary. And then, Al, we get all the way down to the last comment left by the one and only David Coney. Taking it, Dave is not a Zion fan. Dave says, no stats, no analysis. All he says is he's going to be out for the season by the time Christmas comes. So it's all right.
Damn.
Damn. I'm just picturing Dave back with his hater suit on and just said,
oh my goodness, and cape.
Right, like that's the ultimate hater comment. But shout out to you, Dave, for participating. But yeah, so I ask y'all, now that we've kind of seen a few preseason games and seeing his game transfers to the NBA, what would you put on his stat line for the year, Al? Points, rebounds, and games played.
I'm going. I think I could see 19, 9. No, 19 and 10. 19 and 10. I'll give him a double. And I think 80 games played. I think he played most of the season.
All right. West Coast, what say you?
Yeah, I got him at 24-8. Just because I do think that he's still not as big as we thought he was. He was way bigger in high school and college, obviously.
All right.
Now he's playing against grown-ups who are professional grown-ups. So I feel like his rebounding is going to drop from where it was in college. But his points per game, Zion does he has to develop a mid-range jump shot, but he sort of can shoot. It's a trip to watch, but he can.
Yeah, right. He's better from three than he is from mid-range, definitely.
Exactly. He's got to develop a mid-range, and once he figures out a mid-range, but I figure that almost always comes with age for good players. Like they sort of figure out where they fit in, where they can get to their spots. They don't get that. They don't necessarily start with that. They start by jumping out the gym, which is what he's doing. And so I feel like his 24 is going to be a real thing. And then I'm gonna say less than 80 games, probably about 68, 70 games. Just because the jumping out of the gym something's going to happen, and he's going to tweak and lose a couple of games here and there. Okay. But I don't think he's going to be, well, God willing, I don't think he's going to be out for an extended period of time during his rookie season.
Okay. Yeah. One thing we do know already is that shit he was doing in college works.
Oh yeah,
he straight out bullying Rudy Gobert the other night. So we do know that, because we've seen it before for like shorter, like big men who come into the league and just don't have the lift and the explosiveness to play despite their lack of height. So we've seen it with like Corliss Williamson, Clarence Weatherspoon, guys like that who just kind of play below the rim and didn't have the explosiveness to play amongst the trees. So we do know that Zion can hang down low, and he can bully the existing big men. So I'm excited to see it.
But does bullying Rudy Gobert count for real? He's French.
Yeah, but Rudy Gobert he's a legit Defensive Player of the Year candidate every year. Like he led the league in blocks twice, so
he's 9 feet tall.
But yeah, but he's like, that's kind of the
9
point, though.
9 feet tall
like,
and skinny.
That's kind of the point. Like if Zion's 6'6", so to
right.
be able to compete against that height, and
avoiding the length is one thing, but I want to see him against like a PJ Tucker, like a Draymond Green. Show me if you could bully them.
Yeah, but like, then that's a different conversation to me. Like, you can out-athlete Draymond Green. Like, I ain't saying,
fair
like,
enough.
So I would say, like, to be able to compete, like, get your shot up over the likes of, like, Rudy Gobert, regardless if you're French or not. Like, the dude's he can play. He's arguably the best defensive center in the league. So, like, to be able to get your shot over him, to be able to post up, still get rebounds, and not be, we've seen it. Like Clarence Weatherspoon, like again, like Corliss Williamson, those guys were relegated to role players when they came into the league because they just couldn't, get their shot up over those guys. They couldn't explode. So to see Zion be able to, play above the rim and still get rebounds and not get like swallowed in the post, it's encouraging for him.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
I'm curious to see from the mental side of it, like what it's going to be like competing, like against
game in and game
grown
out.
Men when it counts, as well as in a much longer season. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm just curious to see how that looks. And I mean, for all young players, you expect to see a drop off. So I'm not trying to hold them to any higher than expectations. I really expect them not to have it, but at the same point, some do. So just curious to see what that looks like. But I think he's been fun to watch, and I'm looking forward to watching him play. And, I'm glad they got him on a lot of national TV games. He's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, and it's going to be fun to see, interesting to see how he adjusts once professional coaches start game planning for him. So, once they start taking away the left hand, once they start, making him shoot the J and forcing him to one, so it'll be interesting to see, it's different. having Roy Williams game plan for you than it is Greg Popovich. So we'll see.
That's fair. That's definitely fair. I mean, overall, though, I think that I like the Pelicans roster, too.
Yeah,
Just as a whole, I like their roster.
Yeah.
I like the way that they did what they did to get the Lakers that they got. I think are going to be helpful because they've had enough time playing, with LeBron and playing. Derek Favors is a big thing too for me, but with regard to how Zion will be able to deal with the bodies.
Right.
If you got to deal with Derek Favors in practice, that's not a small feat.
And they're young. They want to run.
Right.
They're not necessarily trying to prop him up as the franchise guy. They got Holiday as somebody that they can start the season with. This is our dude, and allow Zion to just, he's a mega star, but in terms of the game, the flow of the game, at least not saying we're going to game plan that this game plan is this guy's going to be our number one option. Like, we got players, so and just allow him to just flourish.
Yeah, and there's enough talent around him. Right, Brandon Ingram. He can kind of pick up a lot of the slack scoring, and so there's guys around him.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Jay.
No, yeah, I'm just saying, it's guys around him that he doesn't have to do everything.
Yeah, like one of the other things I'm looking at that's cracking me up is that there's 5 Duke players. So he's even got the simplest that connection. They can all just, you know what I mean? Like, they can all call Coach K on a conference call. Right.
True.
There's 5 of them on this team. It's because Jahlil Okafor exists on that team.
Right.
Brandon Ingram, JJ Redick, and Frank Jackson. Like, Frank Jackson was one of his teammates, so they're good. Yeah. Like, I feel like they have enough of there should be enough of a bond that they'll be able to. And JJ is at this point the wily vet, so he'll be able to legit talk to him.
What other franchise has 5 players from the
same school? Yeah, that's
crazy.
Kind of a trip.
Yeah.
That's almost half your squad.
All right.
Not half, but maybe like
third.
half the people who play.
Well, they could legitimately play a 5 Duke, an all Duke squad, like from point guard to center.
Right. Well, it won't be long. The season kicks off next Tuesday. So, guess what we're talking about next week?
You know it.
All right. So, Al, you got us ready for trivia?
Yes, sir. My turn. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. What you got?
Okay. 4 categories, 3 questions. 1 point, 2 points, 3 points. The categories are first L, people's first loss.
Okay.
Black flicks, questions about black movies. Black pop culture, self-explanatory. And hip hop trivia, same things, self-explanatory.
Okay.
Not the hardest of questions, so you got 5 seconds.
Oh. Yeah.
All right. The lightning round.
Right. 5 seconds. All right. Who, last week?
Jay's first. I hosted last week.
Yeah, we hosted. So let's go hip hop for 2.
Hip hop for 2. The name Biggie Smalls, the character Biggie Smalls, was from which movie in the 1970s?
Damn it. Let's do it again.
Correct. Correct. That would be, hold on, let me get my scoring right. Okay, where you going, Jay?
Let me give first L for 2.
First L for 2. Okay. This NFL team, Buffalo Bills, they lost 4 Super Bowls in the early 90s, what team did they lose to in that first Super Bowl?
The Giants.
Would be correct. West Coast.
If you listen to Bernard Works, you still owe me $15 for that game. Oh,
that's hilarious.
I don't know. Hey, say his name again, Jay.
Bernard Works, a.k.a. Zook. You owe me $15 for that game, buddy.
Just saying.
Yeah.
We pay our debts over here, right? If you're going to bet, pay up.
Right.
Okay. Where you going, bro?
Let's stay hip-hop for 3.
Okay. What was the name of Kendrick Lamar's 2017 album that went double platinum?
To Pimp a Butterfly.
3 for you. Jay, where you going? Jay, the lightning round works. Come on.
Let me get first L for 3.
First L for 3. Okay. Which team beat Tom Brady for the first time in the Super Bowl?
That would be the Giants.
Oh, that would be the Giants.
Yeah.
Okay, the pressure. Where you going? Where you going?
In first L. There's a theme in first L.
I'm just saying, who beat you for the first time? That's the question.
Let's close out hip hop.
Close out hip hop. Okay. Which platinum Bronx MC died in 2000 of a heart attack?
Is that Big L?
No.
Big
that
L
was Big Pun.
Pun. It was a big guy.
It was a big guy. But Pun. Okay, what you got, Jay?
We close out first L for 1.
Okay.
It's the New York Giants.
Who beat Muhammad Ali for the first time? 5, 4, 3, 2,
Joe Frazier.
1. It was Joe Frazier. Oops.
All right. Times that by my influence on pop culture for 2.
Black pop culture for 2. Which R&B singer was shot by his father in 1980?
Marvin Gaye.
Marvin Gaye. Good answer. Good answer. Good answer. I might drop this down to 3 seconds. Y'all keep going like this.
Lightning round, man. You said what it was.
I like it. I like it. I like it. Jay, where you going?
What we got left?
Okay, so you got first L is gone. Black flicks 1, 2, 3. Black pop culture 1 and 3. Hip hop trivia is closed.
Get Black flicks for 3.
Black flicks for 3. In the 1994 movie Jason's Lyric, starring Alan Payne and Jada Pinkett, who starred as Jason's close friend? 5, 4, 3.
Bokeem Woodbine?
It is Bokeem Woodbine. Yes. Name was Joshua. Okay. West Coast.
I guess I gotta go pop culture for 3 and keep up with this dude.
Okay. Who is the oldest brother in the Jackson 5? 5.
Jermaine?
That was. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me check that. I thought it was Jackie, but maybe. Wait. The judges are conferring.
See, I check with the producers.
Gotta check with the producers. Give us a second. We're going to the videotape. Can I get okay. And the correct answer, who did you say?
I said Jermaine.
That is incorrect. Correct answer is Jackie.
It is Jackie.
It is Jackie.
Damn it.
It is Jackie. Okay.
I can't beat Jay in trivia. This is a curious.
Jay, where you going?
We go Black flicks for 2.
Beat a whole network and can't beat Jay.
And Jermaine is actually third.
He is third.
Yeah, Tito's second oldest.
An American Gangster. What was the name of Frank's gangster mentor?
Bumpy Johnson.
Jay trying to go right through this motherfucker.
Yeah, like he is yet to miss.
Yeah, good job. So you got what's left, West Coast. You got black pop culture for one, or black flicks for one.
I might as well stay with the pop culture then.
Okay. Which actor played Mr. in Color Purple?
That would be the great Bay Area native Danny Glover.
Good answer. And Jay, your last one is black flicks. Mike Epps first appeared in which of the Friday movie series?
Next Friday.
That was Next Friday.
I'll just go stand there hugging and shit. Just go let him win. Just go let him do it.
This concludes trivia.
Hugging and shit.
Oh,
Lightning round version.
I like the lightning round. Right.
Yeah, that worked.
Right. Oh, man. Wow.
Damn it, I got the wrong big. It threw me all the way off. My rhythm was...
I'm just saying, right? Y'all
Right.
going set for set. Bah. Damn. Big.
Yeah.
L.
He's a big L. I was like, I got him.
Got him.
Word. Well, Al, you hosted, man. What's your parting shot? What you got for me?
Nothing, man. Just have a good week. Stay up. Enjoy this show. Got some changes in the horizon, on the network. It's been fun, man. This has been an amazing ride. And so continuing to enjoy it, see the growth, see the energy. So just shout out to all those on the network, and let's continue to do our thing.
Absolutely. Second that. West Coast, what you got for me, man?
Man, it's something similar to what Al just said. Like, the network is doing well. Shout out to the mighty Ozzy Killmonger and the regularist of regular Scots for your 50th.
Oh, word.
For your 50th episode.
Lennon Kim
shout
on the
out to
verge
Lennon
of 50.
Kim on the way, right? Lennon Kim at 48, getting ready to be a couple of weeks away.
Very nice.
Relationship status is at their 35th date. Like, ain't they married by now? Like, if you're at 35 days,
and we still waiting on our invite.
You know what I'm saying? Once they get to their 40th, I guess that's what that's when they married, and so they're gonna have to marry people on. I got you.
Okay. So we might see them in the 40s then. Maybe.
But shout out to Simba holding it down, all the etc. Representing the Bay.
No doubt.
What is it? But other than that, I guess I gotta give a shout out to Money and Pooh and give the money tagline of if you're not rocking with Defy Life, what is your life about?
Word.
All right. Well, I got a couple things. I'm gonna piggyback off Jay because we always talk about beef across the network. I officially got beef with relationship status. Outside of the fact that we've been asking to be guests on the show for how long now, y'all? At least a month.
It was at least a month.
At least a month.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And I go listen to relationship status this week. And fucking Be Easy's on the show this week, and we ain't got an invite yet.
This shit is getting personal.
So, CL, Yosh, Neek, if y'all can't hear me right now, if y'all can't see me right now, I've got both middle fingers up, and it's on, like Tupac style.
Shots fired.
Right.
Take that.
So I mean it. So at this point, y'all might not want to have us on the show because I'm coming to raise hell. Me and all my marriedness. But yeah.
Hey, I'm right behind you, cousin.
Right.
I'm right behind you. I ain't letting you go in there by yourself.
Hey.
I'm right behind you.
Right. We coming in guns blazing with all your
talking shit.
Right. And have Be Easy on when I'm there. That's what I want y'all to do.
Hilarious.
And matter of fact, just out of spite, I'm opening up the show with "What's up, fuckers?" on your show.
On your show.
Right.
Going down the gauntlet.
Oh man. So yeah. But yeah, I weekly check in with Lincoln's football team. They ended the regular season 6-1. So close it out with a win over their biggest rival, who they played for the second time this year. When they're winning 13-6, so they finished 6-1, finished second in the conference. And so the playoff, they have a bye week this week. They take this shit seriously. They have a bye week this week. Right. And so check this out. So the top 4 teams, there's 7 teams in the 8 teams in their league. The top 4 teams go to the playoffs. The bottom 4 teams have a bowl game, just like college, like the little shitty bowl games that don't matter. So they get a bowl game, and then the playoffs start the following week. So they'll have to play that team again for the 3rd time. So they'll have to beat a team 3 times in the season to advance. Hard to do. It's hard to do. And they will, but if they win, they'll likely have the opportunity to face the only team that beat them this year. So it'll be a little bit of a
championship.
Right. And then after that, if they win the championship in their league, they go to Hampton, Virginia to play the regionals. And if they win that, they go to Florida to play in the Nationals. So, yeah, it's just getting serious. So it's playoff time. As their coach told them, boys, it's win or turn your shit in. That's what time of the year is.
That's what it is.
Right.
That's hilarious.
Win or go home.
Right.
Turn your shit in.
Different time of the season, right?
Yeah. So
if we lose now, season's over.
Right. So, really good game last week, but I love their coaches, man, because they treat them like men. So before, every little team has their own chant going onto the field. And so one of the coaches had a new chant for the boys this week, and he said, "I'm gonna give y'all permission to say this one because I think this is just so raw." So their offensive coordinator is like, "Yeah." So it was like 2 pads, and then they hit their thigh pads. So 2 pads, boom, boom, 2 claps, boom, boom, bust the Indian shit loose. Like that's how they came onto the field. They was playing against the Indians. So it was 2 pads, 2 claps, bust the Indian shit loose. He said, "I'm gonna give you permission to say it." That shit was so live.
Wow.
Yeah.
They got hype.
They got so hype. Yeah. But you can see him like looking around, making sure their parents wasn't around. He was like, "Ain't no parents around." He's like, "I'm gonna give you permission to say it."
Yeah, let it out. Let it out.
Right. And it was so they was live. So they got to say bust the Indian shit loose, and they bust their shit. So congrats to all those kids, to the coaches, team moms, everybody. It's been a fun ride. So that's all I got, man. Shout out to Money, Pooh, Yosh. Yosh, I hope you ain't still in traffic. Money.
Right.
Who knows where the fuck you and Pooh filling in potholes at now. But let that man go home. He got a family.
I got one more random. The Washington Nationals are going to the World Series.
Oh, wow.
Without Bryce Harper.
Right.
That's without Bryce Harper. That is cracking me up right now.
That's definitely an interesting. Maybe that's something else we talk about next week.
Yeah.
World Series ring or the mega contract.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, we definitely talking about that.
Yeah. So congratulations to the Washington Nationals headed to the World Series.
Right. And we'll throw in. We'll just wrap that around Al's baseball roundup.
Yeah, because the Yankees and the Stros is actually giving us what we thought it was going to give us.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'll touch in.
All right. Cool. Well, guys, great show, man. And as Jay said, this time's winding down for things as we know it. So we got some changes on the horizon, some surprises coming up. So I'm a little bit anxious and it's enjoying it as we go. But we'll talk to y'all again next week. Until then, Defy Life.
Defy Life.
Defy Life, y'all.
Welcome to the Anything, Everything, and Nothing podcast with Lynn and Kim. Join us as we discuss the latest in everything from entertainment and current events to the craziness that is our real life.
Let's laugh, let's live, let's talk about it. New episode every Tuesday on the Defy Life Podcast Network. And remember, if you're not defying life, then what are you doing? Lynn and Kim.